What's going on, guys? A late one today, but I've had a busy day and I always do my match recaps and player ratings the day after the game. Manchester United Middlesbrough FA Cup went to extra time and penalties and we ultimately end up going out of the cup. Middlesbrough win, fair play to them, they deserved it. We had so many chances in the game to win it and we were just so wasteful. When I say they deserve it, they do, but we should have won the game beforehand, before it even got to penalties. It doesn't surprise me with this team. I don't get as angry as I used to get because it's just wasted energy. I'm just disappointed, and the standards of this club have just in the gutter. And I think the sad thing is that a lot of us have just accepted that because we kind of have to, because of who the owners are. But at the same time as well, the players that are there have to be doing more on the pitch. And they're not performing. And yes, you could say that they created tons of chances, but what good is that when we look back on it and we're out of the cup? And I've got a huge problem with people like the United standard, Mark Goldbridge, and the people that work for him, the guy that does the road trips, that Adam guy, and the arrogance they show and the cockiness when we don't deserve to be talking like that. Do you know what I mean? They do it consistently against teams, and then we end up either drawing or losing against them, and they're saying that we should be hammering them. Yesterday, Goldbridge was saying that we should be cruising. We are cruising in the game, and then we end up losing the game. So how are we cruising if we end up losing? Because we don't finish our chances, and we wasn't cruising, because if we were cruising, the game would have been over and it wouldn't have gone to extra time. So I don't like the arrogance and the cockiness of some of our fans and how they talk when we don't deserve to even be in that mindset, because they're talking like we're Man City or Liverpool, and we're not. We're not even close to playing or performing like that. So we don't have the right to have that arrogance. We used to when we had Ferguson and Giggs and Beckham and everyone, because we were performing and proving it and walking the walk as much as talking the talk. But we haven't had that since Ferguson left. So I don't get the arrogance and the cockiness, and it's just something that needs to stop, because you make yourself look like an utter idiot when you're deleting tweets and then having to go back on things and video clips getting clipped, and because of your arrogance and cockiness that there's no right for that to be there in the first place anyway. So I just wanted to point that out because that's been irritating me. Overall, the players need to have a lot to answer for, but as long as these owners are in place, I don't see anything getting better. Especially off the field and that, you can't argue with it. They do what they do, they make money, but that's not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in what we do on the pitch. Unfortunately, it seems like some of the players aren't, or they're just not good enough, and the owners don't give a shit. So, into the player ratings. Henderson, I'd give an average. Didn't have a lot to do. I think I remember him making 1 or 2 saves in the game. Penalties, he was awful, and yeah, average. You could argue below average. Delo, a 6. I thought he was bright. Tried to get forward at times and be one of the few players to be positive, I thought, in terms of having a shot or trying to put a cross in. And so I thought he had an above average game, but nothing fantastic. 6 for Delo. Varane, I thought was a rock at the back. One of the best players in the game. Was rock solid. Didn't make any mistakes. So I'd give Varane an 8. Maguire, 6, just above average. I wasn't blown away by him, but he didn't make a catalogue of errors that we're used to from him. So maybe it's an average, but I give him a just above with a 6. Luke Shaw, I give an average. I thought he wasn't as effective as Delo was on his side, and just didn't stand out to me, and hasn't affected games since before the Euros for me, really. So an average for sure. McTominay, I'd give an average. Didn't really notice him. Didn't really make too many mistakes, but no creation. Not good enough. Not the standard we need. Average. Pogba, I'd give a 6. Was strong on the ball. Made a few runs and that here and there, but again, from a player of his stature that he's supposed to be, not what we need. Like, it's not good enough. And I have given him above average, but Pogba should be getting 7 and 8s, 9s. And he rarely does. And again, he's got a 6. So, Pogba, 6. Bruno, another poor game for me. He had that chance where he pretty much had an open goal when he hit the post. Yeah, just not impressed with him as of late. I haven't been for a while, to be honest, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's too much football for him at the moment. I don't know, but I think something's in his head and it's affecting him. Poor again from Bruno. 4. Sancho was one of the bright sparks for me. Obviously, he hit the crossbar in the opening minute and a half. Scored the goal, even though it got a deflection. He was positive. He was putting countless crosses into the box. And I thought he looked very bright. The only one of the attacking and midfield that looked like he was going to do anything. So Sancho I was very impressed with. I'd give him an 8. Ronaldo, I thought he was poor. Missed several chances. Missed the penalty in the game before it got to the actual penalty shootout. But was quiet, and then the chances he did have, he was poor with. So one of the worst games I've seen Ronaldo have for United since he returned. I'd give him a 3. Rashford, also a 3. I don't know what's happened to him. I've never been his biggest fan, but he was definitely more effective a few years back. I think people give him a pass for the off-the-field stuff he does, but for me, I couldn't give a rat's ass about that. I'm here to watch him as a footballer, not a politician, not a spokesperson, a footballer. Your bread and butter. Because you wouldn't have them other platforms if he wasn't a footballer first. So, but he's not even performing on the pitch, and he hasn't done for a long time, and I think he's very overrated. Very overrated. And I believe we need to sell him because I just don't see what we're doing with him. And I don't think he's good enough for us. People say he's world class. I can't see it. Can't see it. 3 for Rashford. And then the subs, we had Phil Jones who come on for Varane. Give him an average. Thought he did okay. Fred come on for Pogba. Average again. Thought he did okay. Massa came on for Sancho. Average. And Elanga average as well, who came on for Rashford. And obviously Elanga with a missing penalty. But I'm not mad at Elanga. He's very young. Penalties can get into young players' heads a lot, like it did with some of our players at the Euros. But Saka, obviously in the Euros, was one of the ones that missed, and since then he's bounced back and is even stronger than he was pre-Euros. And I just hope that Elanga doesn't get affected by this too much, because I like the look of him, and I think it was harsh on him. I would have rather it would have been one of the more experienced players that would have to have missed one if we were going to go out like we did. But it is what it is. But I heard there was racist comments and that after, and it doesn't surprise me because it happens every time. It's sickening. But I just hope that it doesn't affect him and he can bounce back, because I think he's got a lot of promise and a lot of potential. So unfortunate for him. And Ranić I'll give a 4 because I didn't agree with every single player he picked. I was happy overall with the starting lineup, but I don't think Maguire should have been in the starting lineup. I don't think Rashford should have been. I'm not too mad on the other positions, but them two at least shouldn't have been in. I'm not surprised by the fact he put them in, but I can't lie. Like, do you know what I mean? It disappoints me. So, and the fact that we went out, he can't go on the pitch and put the tactics in and do the job for the players. So they're responsible partly for it, but I'm not impressed by what I'm seeing, and it's just not good enough. So, but who knows how much control and how much say he has in all of this. He might just be the front person for it. So, do you know what I mean? So, Ranić, I'd give a 4. Disappointing to go out the cup like that. Fair play to Middlesbrough. I don't hate them for that. They deserved it. They held on and they were decisive in the penalties. So, fair play to Middlesbrough. Congratulations. Disappointed with the United players again. I think a lot of them ain't good enough, and a lot of them don't have the fight in them. A lot of them rock up to games and think they can rely on their talent to get them through games, but that talent's not even showing. So, and then when you top that up with them not trying in games and not fighting for it as much as other players on the opposite team, you're bound to lose or get draws. Like, it's not rocket science. So I don't get this arrogance that the players and the owners have, and well, not as much the owners, but the players and the staff, like the coaching staff and some of our fans, because we're not performing to warrant that arrogance. So that's the big part of me for this, is the arrogance of our fans and certain people on social media and some players, because they're not performing. So you have you don't have any free slack from me to be speaking like that in the first place, because you're not backing it up. So it is what it is. It's disappointing to go out in a cup like that, but it doesn't surprise me. But it's not good enough for this club. disappointed. Don't know what else to say, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll be back soon with another match recap and player ratings. My man of the match, it could be Varane or Sancho. I'm going to give it to Sancho. I thought he was quality, and he was let down by other players. So Sancho is my man of the match. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys, and I'll see you soon.